But we start with the war in Ukraine. Communities coming together today to bury the dead following the atrocities in this town of Bucha. But already fresh claims of possible war crimes in Mariupol, where the mayor today called his city the new Auschwitz and said at least 5,000 civilians have been killed, all as Russian forces pull out of Kyiv, doubling down their efforts in the separatist regions in the east. But in the west, Philip Crowther, reporting for NewsNation, says the bombs are still falling despite the Russian retreat.
There were air raid sirens here in Lviv in the west of Ukraine, again followed by the news that Russian missiles had been shot down, intercepted by Ukraine. No casualties there, but a reminder that despite the fact that Russian troops have retreated from the outskirts of Kyiv, returned to Russia and Belarus, respectively, after being routed by the Ukrainian military, that attacks will continue throughout the country. And indeed, the knowledge now, it would appear, from NATO, but also from the Ukrainian military and most military experts, is that this war is going to shift, and that some of those troops that had to leave Ukraine, that had been defeated by the Ukrainian military, will now regroup, and some will be sent to the east of the country. That's the Donbass region, where Russian-backed separatists have already been at war with Ukraine for 8 years. That's where Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to regain more control, probably over the next few days and weeks. And that includes the city of Mariupol in the southeast of the country. And that is a city that is still trying to get as many civilians out as possible. And according to the British government, there are around 160,000 civilians still there. But the International Red Cross today telling us that it has tried to get civilians out of Mariupol since last Friday and has failed to do so far. It arrives around 20 kilometers or 12 miles to the outskirts of Mariupol, and then because of the security conditions there, because essentially Russian troops are firing on them, they are not able to get civilians out. It's a dire situation in Mariupol, and indeed the fear now is that what could be found in Mariupol, if indeed Ukrainian forces are able to take control of it, could be worse than what has been discovered in the likes of Bucha on the outskirts of Kyiv. The warnings, though, from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy are very clear, that the Ukrainian army simply does not have enough troops or enough weapons to be able to stand up to the very powerful Russian army. Of course, that's something that had been said before this invasion began already, only for the Ukrainian army to surprise pretty much everybody. The Ukrainian President Zelenskyy also today speaking to Irish lawmakers via video conference in Dublin, saying that Russia is using hunger as a weapon, saying that Russia has been targeting food depots and has been mining fields, just one of those tactics that the Ukrainian president described earlier today. Nichole?
All right, Philip, thank you. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.